All right, family. What's going on this Monday afternoon? A happy afternoon to you. June the 2nd. We have made it. Oh, Lord, I don't know what to tell people. Like I put it on my Facebook page, man. God help me to say it today, man. I don't know what to tell people. But you got Black History and Pride. You got homosexual and Black History Month and Black History continuation, I should say, right? Because it's always a continuation when you're studying about the dark skin tone folks, the tan skin tone folks on this planet, man. There, you can't control it to one day. Shout out to Juneteenth, by the way, that's coming up here. 17 days, right? And for those who don't get happy about it, that's fine. For those who get happy about it, that's fine, right? Because you celebrating coming away from the massa. You celebrating coming away from massa. All the stories that you can find out about slaves on the plantation. I digress. Shout out to us who are almost the 1,300 plus strong, who believe in, who love on, who have fun with and enjoy. Yes, today, me and the missus, aka my wisdom, as some say, right, are going to have a good old time looking at one of the major wrestling promotions in the planet, which is WWE, because they have come to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have the chance now to go and visit the BOK Center here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're going to have a good old time and watch a lot of good wrestling. For those who say it's fake and all that kind of thing, so be it. But again, we say all that to tie into the fact that us who are the 1,300 plus strong have fun and enjoy this beautiful life God gave us, right? And those who are hungry, thirst for, and want to seek after that, which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Today's topic, like what will be going forward. We talked on that word weary last time. We had a little fun here, doing the whole touch your neighbor and certain things that happen in church, right? This is not to really make fun of church experience, but it is to bring to light some things that are out of balance in church experience. Again, a lot of that stuff is cool. Okay. I want to get that clear and out of the way here. Being a Christian and stuff and talking about certain things that are necessary to speak on does not mean that I disagree with it. I disagree with the premise in using it to not empower people and get them looking off into the sunrise for when one sets and another comes again. Because again, y'all waiting on the sun, aka Jesus, to come back. We ain't about the rapture here. You got a lot of stuff here first before that happens. And it starts with us being good toward each other, right? Your Bible says to pray for those who despitefully use you. And in the same breath, right, it tells you how you should be on guard. On guard. Keep me, you know what? See, I'm happy this morning, family. So this morning, it feels like a morning to me. This afternoon, family, right? Oh man, I don't know how to say it. And we're gonna have a little bit of a conversation here. Because again, my missus put up something about where we are from, which is New York, right? In the good old town of Massapequa, of some things that just recently happened with Linda McMahon, again, who is married to Vince McMahon, who visited Massapequa and had a conversation about the team, the sports team there, football, so on and so forth, that go by the Massapequa Chiefs. We have to have that conversation, family. Oh man, we got our notes here. Family. Again, for the bowl, I don't know where the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s went, man. I don't know what happened to the preachers who made black hockey for black hockey players, black folks who wanted to skate around and shoot hockey pucks in Canada. I don't know where y'all went. I don't know. But I know there are those who are the repairers of the breach. We have talked about that on this podcast. I know there are those, again, who hunger, thirst for, and seek after that, which is a different view. The Massapequa Chiefs. This gets into this thing with the Redskins, and this ties into this Louisiana plantation, which we're going to tie it all together. All right, family. So y'all welcome back and welcome in. We're going to say this here, that the podcast can be found on, we haven't tied it in just yet to Pandora, but be on the lookout. A Different View is coming to Pandora. Tell your friends, let them know, family, so on and so forth, that it's coming there. If you listen to podcasts there, you'll be able to listen to it very soon. We are on YouTube at A Different View 80. Literally, that's what it said, at the at symbol, A Different View 80. That's where the channel is, where you can find it. We have seen an uptick on it. Let it continue, family. The words of truth have got to get out there. We have to start having very open and honest conversations on the subjects of life, whether they be romantic relationships, business relationships, so on and so forth. Before we get too far, as in classic fashion, your boy did not mute the sound. So my apologies, we do that right there. Because we get into this a lot, this topic, family, where going back to this roaring lion thing, we get a lot on this topic of the devil not being the entity with the fork, and we're not discrediting that, but we're talking about where we look too far to that. With the pitchfork, the red suit, the horns, talons, claws, all that type of stuff, a tail. People of an adversarial mindset, family, is more where you need to look. And when you look at the group, okay, again, we talk about this with slaves, how there's a group that is at the top of the class, that is our black and tan skin tone people across the planet, right? We've listed over and over again from history who we've seen to be on this slave class, okay? The other side of those who are the slave owner, all right? And at the top of that group, See, again, at the top of the group is the European, aka the so-called white man, who we call, or who was called on the plantation, massa, right? Not actually a master of nothing. You was just holding off on some stolen goods that came from Britain that we have recalled this mess the United States. We understand. But still, they were massa to our ancestors. Some who even may be living, who are elders, possibly descendants of these folks, right? This is what is told about those, family. See, especially when you get into intercultural marriage, we got a lot of mixed babies out there. I'm saying interracial marriage. That's what we say, right? We got a lot of mixed babies out there. It's going to continue. Okay, let's not be naive here. You're going to have to understand a certain thing here. Not because people are deceived and won't stay away from white folks. We're talking about that which is attraction and love that occurs between all people. Say it again. Attraction and love occurs between all people, family. This is why over here, we got nothing to say about our homosexual and transgender brothers and sisters. We got nothing to say. Shout out to Pride Month, by the way. We're going to have to start being respectful. You know, for folks who sit here and talk about this, well, you know, that man with the dress on, he gonna go in there and rape my grandmama. Let's my mama, my sister, my auntie, I ain't cool with that. Okay. We're not taking nothing away from that. But understand, if somebody meant to go into the women's bathroom and rape your grandmama, auntie, sister, mother, so on and so forth, they're gonna do it one way or the other. It's the same thing that we say about those who gonna raid the home. They're going to come and break in your house one way or the other. Now, you got to be ready, right? This is the part where we kind of miss it, and we do a little bit of a DID thing. You got to be ready, of course, but they're coming in either way, right? This is the little DID game. Again, DID, dissociative identity disorder. Another way you could say it from a mental thing here, because again, a lot of this is in the mind. The truth of the matter is very real, that all is the mind and the universe is mental. Just take that phrase, just put it on a mantle somewhere. All is the mind and the universe is mental. Because people again, the Bible reiterates this by telling you that as a person thinks, so are they, right? And again, we do a lot of happy dance. We look like them penguins on that ice, man. We doing a lot of happy feet. The happy feet is working, man. But it's not working in our benefit. You're going to have to start recognizing the fact that you got people out here who are truly the devil. They are an adversary to life and godliness. And you must watch out for those folks, even if they are your own kin. And kin in this instance is sharing your own skin tone, as well as family members. I am not down with you because you are brother, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt, father, mother, grandmother, grandfather, or great of either that has nefarious purpose on the mind. Family, you got to understand that. You got to understand that because they're going to drag you down if you don't. We ain't out here for fool Negroes. Notice I didn't say field Negro. I didn't say fools. We ain't out here for folks operating in lies and deceit, because that's what to fool means. Not the Goki dancing in the king and queen's quarters in Britain type of fool. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the other definition of the word fool, which means to fool, which means to deceive or trick. You got fools out here operating in foolishness. Humble yourselves. This is 1 Peter 5. We're going to use a few verses. We'll probably use a few verses today in talking. We'll see. This is the first one. 1 Peter 5. Right? Peter, this is the dude cussing out Jesus. This is for those who like to throw away folks in their life. Maybe you should be careful before you crumple up that human piece of paper, right? Now, you know what? Take it back. Go all the way to verse 1, because there's only 8 verses. It's not that far, right? The elders. Never mind, right? I got it. Stop getting on the youth, family, if the elder won't do what they're supposed to do, huh? This is an obvious truth that's right there. The elders which are among you I exhort, who I am also an elder, and witness to the sufferings of Christ. Okay. Also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Okay. Feed the flock. Again, notice, all these years later, Jesus had such an awesome, heartfelt conversation with Peter, who did curse him 3 times during his interrogation. We get it, right? See, we are so quick to throw each other away. Where does that come from, family? Somebody cheats on you, you are quick to throw them away. Business improprieties, you are quick to throw them away. And on certain of these instances, we understand it is necessary. Separation, family, is necessary, right? Coming away in various different forms, i.e. divorce, is necessary. Every one of them, hell no. While, you get a lot of beatings and folks is acting like it's a WWE match, I don't mean it's time to walk away, but it may mean it's time for y'all to separate. Again, to each their own. This is why we say that, family. It is presumptuous for us to all put something all on somebody. While there's a baseline and a rhythm of life that you can clearly see, that does not mean it's for everybody. Different strokes for different folks, family, right? Feed the flock. Feeding is the last thing. Feed my sheep, feed my lambs. That was the last thing that Jesus told Peter. Clearly, he got the message all these years later. Took a while for him to get there, but he got it. How about us, family? For some of us, it's taken a while. We listen to Massa tell us that we shouldn't be so happy to watch a plantation burn down in Louisiana. We shouldn't be so happy to watch the quote unquote misfortune of those who have done wrong to us and our family. We shouldn't be happy. We shouldn't be so joyful. That's manipulation. The wages, we'll just let Snoopy play in the background 1 second. Let your boy collect his thoughts. Charles Schultz play that melody. Feed, nourish each other. Lizzo said it best, water me. Y'all play that song. You know, one of the emphasis, let's get into that real quick, because it's the month of June, family. We named 2 things that happened in this month. One is Juneteenth. The other is Pride Month. Do y'all know any other things that happen in June this month? One is safety. National Safety Month. Safety in general. So you could say gun safety, sexual safety. Again, there's another one of these articles out here. We may or may not talk about it, where STDs are on the rise in certain places. STIs, STDs, however you want to say it. Excuse me one moment while I just bring up this mess. Bring up this mess, man. About the Massapequa Chiefs, and don't you know, good old Presidente is right on top of it with it. Of course he is. Man, how could you get so upset over 0.2% of the population? Never mind. God, I hope this gets around, man. I hope this gets around. We, you know, in your major news things and stuff, man. This is a conversation to have. Anyway. Feed the flock, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof. Folks are lazy, family. We haven't gotten yet into the word, but let word work. Let's look at lazy for a moment, because a lot of people use this word, but what does it mean? Unwilling. This is like the same thing with charity. The voluntary willing to give. Folks are unwilling to work. Again, we're going to get into the word work here in a second. Unwilling. We confuse, family, those who do not want to be overused at work with those who are unwilling to work. There's a difference. And mass has fed us deception long enough. It's time for us to discern the difference. You will not overwork me and call me lazy at the same time. That's a damn lie from the pits of hell itself. Let's get back into the verse here to finish this thought. Taking the oversight thereof. You got people who will not take the oversight. So when we talked about that last time, the question posed as to what happened to the fivefold ministry, again, you got folks who are lazy. The pastor don't want a pastor no more. They want that good money. They want that good Cadillac. They pimping people out here. It's a pimp named Slick back out here. Shout out to Boondocks. I put that on my Facebook page, right? Stink Meaner and Uncle Ruckus, the actors who do the voices, right? They're gonna be at a Comic-Con. Your boy like going to Comic-Cons. I love that stuff, man. Again, we're talking about celebration of art, but I digress. So at the end of it, right? They're at a place where it's like a vegan place. Black folks eating vegetables. Who thought that? It's black owned, by the way. You eating up this good earth? Wait a minute. What y'all Negroes ain't supposed to be doing that. Where them pig ears and that fat back? Where all that pork at? Where's them ribs? Y'all supposed to be eating that fatty food. Them chicken wings, them chicken feet. Pigtails and pig snout. That's what y'all supposed to be eating. Ain't no vegetables and chicken breast. Lean proteins. What y'all doing? That's for massa. You get mad that a plantation burned down. Do you know people, or you get mad at folks who are happy that this plantation burned down. Do you know that people, we talking high level celebrities, get married, and people do it too. They have their anniversaries and marriages at plantations, family. Did y'all know this? I did not, man. And it hurt to find that out, right? It's sick. It is sick what's in the mind of people. You holy union of people you have on the grounds. You have it on the grounds where holy families were broken and snapped to pieces. To this day, the black man and woman is trying to figure it out, how necessary family is, and you would sit there like a trophy. No, you shouldn't get, don't, hey KJ, don't get so mad, brother. What? You shouldn't be happy these plantations burning down. You misused your own people. So-called white people misuse their own people. We told you about this show, She the People, that Tyler Perry made. You understand that these mansions built were plantations, family. Huh? We are okay leaving up the images of death around us and destruction. Meanwhile, you'll have a fool of a president sit here and tell you, and again, most of them is fools. They ain't supporting nobody that's wanting any help. Normally, those are the ones who get shot. And no, we're not talking about Donald Trump. This is why we shouldn't be shooting these folks. That's not going to do the trick. Again, they reserve shooting the folks for the righteous. Never mind. Right. Again, we are not condoning. See, before people go there in the mind, because this is the sick way we use distractions and divisions and excuses to continue being mean boys and girls to each other. No one is saying any president should get shot. What I am saying is the ones that want to do real good for folks are normally the ones who get shot. That's why I leave the assassination thing alone. That's not going to do it. What does it is people standing together on a continual basis till the desired result is obtained. That's how it works. That's what the opposite side is doing, so why wouldn't we? You got something else on your plate that you need to be doing other than that, family? There is nothing else higher than that. Never mind. Finish off the verse, okay? Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly. How many different times can the Bible say a thing? Not for filthy lucre, but of a, here's another one. We're going to add on layers here. So we talked about God gives a sound mind. Here's another one. A ready mind. Are we ready out there, family? If not, it's time to get ready. In the church, they do it all the time with Jesus coming back, especially Crystal Lewis, for those who remember. Shout out to your sis one time, right? Really awesome Christian singer back in the day. One of those songs that just was just a thing off of what preachers were saying in the pulpit. People get ready, Jesus is coming. In this case, when we're talking about this kind of ready, we're talking about that which has already came and already given a certain light to people. And again, if you were going to be ruler thereof, then you don't take it unwillingly. It's something given to you. And not just for money, but of a ready mind. Maybe we'll break down what the word ready means. It's a different time. We'll break down what that word ready means in that verse. Neither as being lords over God's heritage. My. He can't. This is the guy who had a problem talking to the Gentiles back in the beginning here, to show you the growth. Anyway, but being examples to the flock. And we got some weird examples. Like, for instance, Pastor Keon Henderson. asking folks for money instead of giving money. Like Brother Marvin Sapp, again, asking for money instead of giving people money. This is not for filthy lucre. You talk about folks arguing with the maker. That's as old as a pastime as being on a plantation house. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, you shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Likewise to the younger. Shout out to the younger folks on the podcast that's rocking with the podcast, man. Please continue to listen. I know what it's like for me as a younger person. In my teenage years, in my early 20s, man, you just want to leave. Again, you won't get off the plantation. But what you believe is a perceived plantation. And in many cases, the elders ain't giving you nothing. So there's a reason why you want to leave. We get it. Just like it's the same, you got the prodigal son there who just wanted to leave. Prodigal daughter's just the same. Again, this is why we encourage, since we got Father's Day, that's another thing coming up in this month, right? Fathers, we this includes stepfathers and stuff. Stop playing the game here, okay? We need everybody. Again, it takes a village, but I digress. So at the end of the day, you want to leave, go. But understand there's nothing but a cold world out there. Now again, unfortunately, in the home, they have invited that cold world in your home. So there's no escape. We get it. We get it. But there's some rules and lessons that you could learn here. That just like they talk about a husband and wife sanctifying the unknowing or the ungodly, right? Husband or wife, vice versa. That's something you can look up. The same thing happens with the kids. I know we don't say it. We don't look at it that way because it's not said in the Bible. The brain shuts off. You know, the sound mind, the ready mind God gave you, that shuts off. So you stop thinking. We get it. But the kids can help in these scenarios so much. Right. So we hope you continue to listen. I had stopped at YouTube, but also Spotify for podcasters, or not Spotify, excuse me. Spotify for creators. That's one place where you can listen to it if you listen to it that way. Another place where you can listen to the podcast is on Spotify itself. That's at a different view. Also Apple Podcasts at a different view. My apologies for that because your boy gets going and you forget some things. Likewise, you younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Again, you got to be something to submit unto, but I digress. Yea, all of you be subject one to another. That's why the Bible verse can say that after the fact, because we're all supposed to be subjected one to another. Yet, we'll leave it alone, right? We'll just leave it alone. And be clothed with humility. That's the part that's missing. Be humble. Sit down, right? Anyway, for God resisteth now again, the word proud here, we're talking haughty. You should be proud of yourself. What this is talking about is where you go too far. So that's haughty, vanity. Again, old school word was vainglory. That's what God resists. And gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that God might exalt you in due time. Again, be not weary. Yeah, hey, right? Be not weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap. We play around with the due season to make people wait too long for things. We understand that. And hope deferred maketh the heart sick. We understand that, right? But when we're talking about the maker, it looked different. See, after a while, you start seeing corn grow. After a while, you start seeing grass grow. This is why we know we're in a new year. Because in the beginning in March, everything has been dying from February, a little bit of October. Sometimes you get that Indian summer. That's what they're talking about, right? So like October, November, December, of course, this is where stuff is dying. It's cold. January, February, right? Still, and then it's getting a little warmer. And then March, April, all that, right, starts hitting and you start seeing stuff growing. That's the new season, family. But I digress. We can keep looking at New Year as January 1st, right? And we can make the excuses that people who look at March as the New Year as part of a cult or whatever, that's go for it, right? Anyway, stuff is growing. It takes time. I had heard this thing like with cars, when you want a new car and stuff, keep that thing clean. This is a certain mindset. Again, be of a ready mind. You want that new thing, man, make the one you got shine in. That's real. Watch over your finances. Stop getting into unnecessary debts. For your health, make sure. We're just saying what it is, right? That he may exalt you in due time, casting your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober. Be vigilant. This is what we did all this to get to. Your adversary, the devil. Now, again, this is telling you like one being. We letting you know, family, that this type of thing is in the mind of people. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad could say that the devil, referring to so-called white people, is the devil regardless of time and place. Why? Because when you look throughout history, there is a group at the top spreading this mess. They are not the only ones. Just like on the slave side, there's not just black folks. There's a lot of slaves in their mind and very physically, right? Just because it's abolished and it ain't legal. Again, the man is playing with what is legal and what is not. And what is abolished in one way shows up in another. That's all we're saying. Okay? Your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion. We hear a roaring lion from him. You go out on that safari and you listen to a lion roar. Go to the zoo. Listen to them roar, family. Listen to the elephant sound off. Doesn't matter what, you hear that thing from a mile away. Earth shaking sometimes. Walking about. There ain't nothing done in conspiracy. That Berlin conference mess. The United States was going to be there. But you a God-fearing country. Somewhere to look over the negotiations on how to divide up another place. Just like you divided up North America. And people aren't supposed to be happy to watch them plantation houses burn. Excuse me. I wish I could say it another way. Excuse me to be watching the households of hell burn. You decided to pick that mess like that. And you decided to put them people there like that. You decided to hurt and rape the women and children there like that. Buck break the men like that. They're in them houses. You decided to do that. And now you want me to not be happy about it when they burn down. I don't know what to tell folks. I don't know what to tell you. You want to control human emotion all the way around. That's what that mess looks like. And then we want to get married to black folks and not join in on this thing. Anyway, let me keep on going. Walketh about seeking to whom to devour. Again, you have an open enemy. It's not hidden in the bushes and in the trees. Climbed up in a tree somewhere hoping you don't see him in the leaves and stuff like that. No, it's walking around trying to find who to devour. Make yourself not so easy to get, family, right? Speaking of who got, R-Truth, we're going to bring it full circle talking about WWE because that's where we're going with this, right? And we're just going to end off talking here a little bit about this and we're going to go on about our day, right? Because, again, your boy got a wrestling event to go see tonight. You know what? Wait. I shut the computer. I shut it down a little too quickly, man. Hey. Let's just play this because your boy is hype this afternoon, man. You know, it's too much mess, right? Too much mess going on, family, and I don't know how else to say it, but I'm gonna let Jey Uso say it in a way that we all can understand, because people think, right? They're playing on a little thing here between Gunther, again, a brother from Austria, right? Again, so-called white person who has a certain thought process. He's playing the role of a person who has a certain thought process. Jey Uso, of course, who is Samoan. This mess is going on all the way from Polynesia. To show you that, again, all around the planet, but we're just using in the proximity of the Americas, right? Specifically North America. All the way from Polynesia over in Samoa. All the way to the islands of Jamaica and Haiti and Cuba, man, and Puerto Rico. Can you imagine that type of mess? But somebody would have had to been off their square and not recognize who the enemy was. Anyway, let us just play this clip one time, because this is what we're dealing with.
Remind me of my place. My place? I'm in my place. This my place. I run this place. With this on my arm. I'm a head of the YouTuber. And then me and the Ring General, we gonna run it back. And I'm gonna walk in this match the same way I walked out of WrestleMania. World Heavyweight Champion. 4 letters. One word.
So I mean, family, I don't know. I don't know what to see. Again, art imitates life, right? Speaking of art imitating life, my humblest apologies to the New York Knicks. If you hung around long enough to the end of this episode, man, here we are, okay? We're just talking about things of which these elements of life show through what we see in life today, right? We're sorry, family, okay, for the Knicks. We don't know what to tell you, okay? We got some Knicks fans that are part of the family. We get it, right? As a Bulls fan, we get it. We both can live in peace, okay? But at the end of it all, the defense wasn't ready to take care of Indiana and the three-point shooting and stuff like that. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. They're going to have to get better in certain areas. It is what it is, right? We already know as Bulls fans, they got a lot of work to do. So, again, we have a little fun with it, but we understand there's other things to be concerned about, right? Again, we understand at the end of the day, the only group winning is the NBA. We mean the owners and all that kind of thing. They're using the exploits of our dear so-called black and white brothers and sisters, right? Well, not sisters. That's the WNBA. Different topic, different discussion. But at the end of the day, man, our dear black and white and Hispanic, you got a whole lot of Asian, right? Jeremy Lin from back in the day. You got a whole lot of folks. They just use everybody for money. And it goes for all these sports. Speaking on the topic, family, you got to get okay with black achievement is really cool. Okay, Asian achievement is really cool. Some of these other groups have found it out. Latin achievement is really cool, right? Well, the word they give for our Latin brothers and sisters instead of calling them by their tribal names, but I digress. Black ownership is where we got to get to, which I believe we're on the doorstep of, right, in our mind. That's why a lot of these conversations are coming up, and they should be encouraged. Because, again, the idea is equality, family. That was what was broken way back in the day to what you see now, where it's slighted toward one group with some folks sprinkled in like it's ice cream sundae with some rainbow sprinkles on the top. We'll use rainbow since it's Pride Month, right? That's not good enough. It's good enough for some other people. That's not good enough for planetary function. There's the difference. We got to get to the point of black ownership, right? Yeah, so there's been some high profile to tie off this thing with plantations and the Massapequa Chiefs. It's silly, family. It's silly. Let's see. The article reads, this is of May 30th, so just a couple days ago. Good old Long Island, Massapequa. How did they say Mass? Because see, we say in Massapequa now, but how did the natives see again? Because we're dealing with land that was taken over, and something else, so something meaning the rules and laws and stuff put over the top of the thing. Same thing with Mount Rushmore, where they took the mountain. That was the mountain of the great grandfathers, right? I believe 6 grandfathers, if I'm not mistaken. And they took that thing and they turned it into plantation owners and stuff. You know the people that are on there, right? Never mind. We're gonna leave it alone. Plantation owners, slave owners. That's what the captor turned this thing into. Again, we talk about the flag that waves, which we will be then celebrating like a bronze idol, come July 4th here in a few days, right? 30 plus or so days. That's the captor's flag that's waving. The ones from the nations that were running this land before they came, y'all don't even know unless you go look it up, because they have hidden the info. They suppressed the information. Massapequa meaning in native language. What is it? The Algonquin First Americans, to say it properly, who inhabited the area, named Massapequa Great Waterland. You know why? Because it's on an island. It's land on an island. Beautiful thing. Right? The name is derived from Marshpeg, or Marshpeg, or Mashpeg. So either Marspeg or Mashpeag. But when you look up and down Long Island, they done did memes on this and all that. Copeg, Massapequa, Amagansett. There's so many names that they would have, but you worried about the chiefs, the Massapequa chiefs. You want to hold on to that part of it. You got 40 something people out of 20,000. So when you look at the breakdown of the people in Massapequa, 20 plus thousand, we'll say 21,000, I think they have as far as of this year. Of course, we know 90% of them is so-called white folks, right? We have to have an honest conversation. 0.2% is native family. 45 people is something along those lines. Is what 0.2% comes to. Man, God help us. But see again, the whole idea, same thing with the plantation thing, is to hold on to this narrative that like it's so precious. You're down here to enjoy the land together. The people don't even have the chance. Wait, do you have the 45 of them just to validate how you're taking their culture? Which one are we doing here? You could have named it a whole bunch of stuff, right? Which in one of the articles they actually name a couple of them as they're going back and forth here. She went out to the high school family. Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education. Let's see. Long Island U.S. Secretary of Education announced she is prepared to go to the U.S. Department of Justice over Massapequa High School's mascot, the Chiefs. Though some consider the mascot hurtful to indigenous individuals, President Donald Trump and McMahon called the push to change the mascot ridiculous. Of course they would. We want to hold on to this. I heard it said this way today in listening to some teaching, right? When you go into some of these offices, right? We're talking like, big wigs, different people, right? They got these deer heads on their wall. We're talking when you go up, like the upper floors, right? All the way to the top. This is how folks think. Who sit at the seat, who sit in the seat of the scornful. For fun. Not for eating food, not for the necessity of life, for showing it off. They got the deer head up there. However many points they give to it or whatever it is. Which this is real. This is things you already know. It's just being brought to your remembrance. You see it all the time. Again, we are not discrediting hunting family. We're talking about where you get to the point where you're doing it just for the hell of it. There's a difference. When you're talking about living on a land where it's scarce, and because of greed, we get into that point where everything is infected with salmonella and all this other mess going on with our food sources. But I digress. That's a separate conversation. They're okay making sure they show off their conquest. That's why it's cool to see Washington say Commanders in the NFL. Call yourselves the Washington Commanders, because you don't give a damn about them Redskins. You use the name to give you money. We understand what it is. Come on. How many natives is playing on the NFL Washington Redskins? How many were there? Do you even know? Once a chief, always a chief. What we know, Secretary McMahon shared the findings of this is one who is married to one Vince McMahon, who is okay passing around a woman in the offices of WWE, allegedly against her will, is sexual conquest. Speaking on sexual conquest and Father's Day coming up and all this kind of stuff, I was in conversation with just a, another customer in a store, right? And they going back and forth doing their holiest of dances. And on a certain level, I understand the passion with the brother, right? Of course, so-called white person. Okay, that part really doesn't bother me so much, right? Because again, we're looking into the mind of people. He goes on to say something that he had learned from church, that to come back all the way to like the Garden of Eden and all this kind of stuff. This is the mess we do, family. This is why we talk about this stuff. Not the black preacher who was almost like put there by Massa. Go back in time, study how the black preacher got there. Okay, put in slave quarters under protest because they really didn't like it. Because again, when you start preaching the Bible, certain things to black folks, it looked different than it does to everybody else. Same thing for our Latin brothers and sisters, Asian, so on and so forth. See, again, we're talking freedom. That is clearly in the Bible. People will sit there and use the excuse that is kind of like you twisting scripture. No, you ain't twisting nothing. It's right there. Because God knows what was going to happen all the way when everything started. This is up on people, not on God. For folks start doing this, so-called white people made the choice. This is why I do not put this thing fully in this devil kind of category. So-called white people made the choice to enslave, kill, rape, hurt, and steal from the various dark and tan skin tone people on this planet. Not just the Americas. That's on y'all. And if you hold to that kind of thought process, same thing. That's on y'all. You cannot kill enough of us to take away that stain that you left there. The only way that you make amends for it is by beginning to give to folks. And in this case, in Massapequa, holding on to a name that y'all got nothing to do with. Call yourselves the Massapequa Monarchs. Give yourself a good European name, because that's the bulk of the people who live there. Right? In Amityville, where I'm from, specifically North Amityville, I can understand the Amityville High School calling themselves Warriors. You got a lot of black folk out there. Yeah, we know. There's a lot of white folks there. But who is going there? You think it's a lot of white folks going to Amityville High School? Come on now, family. It's the same thing in Copeg, right? No matter where you go. We clowning out here, y'all. And listen. To each their own on what they believe, same as me, right? But we clowning out here, and there's certain results that are attached to it. Anyway, let's continue reading the article. Regarding where are we at here? Because we may pause and stuff. We have 47 minutes. All right, so we're almost matching last time. We're gonna leave it alone. Regarding we're trying to come to the close here. Okay, regarding the high school's decades old mascot, Native American wearing a feathered headdress earlier today, because that's what you look at when you look at what their thing looks like. She said she's planning on calling New York State to sign a resolution. Again, we using law now, not to elevate the society. You ain't trying to help them 45 natives in it. Never mind. We'll leave it alone. Resolution to allow the chiefs and other mascots to stay. If they refuse, McMahon said she is prepared to bring the issue before the U.S. Department of Justice. Again, the justice is not for those natives. The justice is for... This is the same thing that happened when black folks moved into Long Island. I'm telling you, Long Island full of mess, man. Like the foundation of it, yeah. Levittown, oh yeah. Oh, redlining? Oh yeah. We talked about what happened a little bit further when you go further west into Rosedale. Okay, that part of the area, Queens, Rosedale, all that kind of stuff. The thing we showed you, or played for you, I should say, a little while ago, where you had white folks crying the blues because black folks was coming into the neighborhood. Wait, I thought we were supposed to be all living together. Telling you what's in the mind of people. And again, when I say anybody, I'm talking about any culture now. When you hold on to this kind of thought, there's an issue. I don't know what to tell you. We're not going to sugarcoat it around here. I can't. I can no longer do that. Right? A member of the Native American Guardians Association flew in from North Dakota to speak in support of McMahon. Two groups. This is on Fox 5. This is on Fox 5 again. The article, Mass Speak with Chiefs, Linda McMahon visits high school over mascot battle. Okay. Two groups formed outside the school. Fox 5's Jody Goldberg reports, one in support of the mascot, one protesting against it. New York State Education Department. Education. That's one of the points of people activity, right? That Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. taught us. Education. Won't you speak on the educational part of this, the historical part of this, where that land is no longer the natives, it's there. And Native Americans got the right to talk about this. Clearly. Other tan and black tone groups got the right to join in with them too. It's time to stop using that which does not belong to you for your benefit. That's something of the holiest and highest order. Won't the preacher talk that in the churches in New York? I bet you they don't. Again, the black preachers that were in the slave quarters, or allowed to be in the slave quarters on these plantations, they held secret church meetings, family. That's what's told to you in history. It's hush hush, because you don't want them slaves revolting. And that revolt does not have to look violent, family. We talking about where they're lazy, so they don't want to work. They want you putting in that effort, not them. They're unwilling. A New York State Education Department's Director of Communications, J.P. O'Hare, provided the statement to Fox 5. It's troubling that a U.S. Secretary of Education would take time of her schedule to disrupt student learning in the name of political theater, because that's what you got going on. Governmental theater. Let's use a different word than political there. But it is theater. This is all a play. This is, again, William Shakespeare said it, that the world's a stage. He wasn't wrong. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, the one who wants to give like $400 to, never mind. That's your inflation assistance. Referred to McMahon's visit as a WWE style distraction. She wasn't wrong. Clearly the Jews, right? I believe she is Jewish, right? Let's just before I'm misquoting. Yeah, just we want to keep it 100. We want to keep it 100. Okay, Hochul, my apologies. Hochul is Catholic. Let's see. Let's just look at this here real quick. They have 2 children. She's Catholic. Okay, that's what they go by. Again, somebody in the comments, you look up the origin of the word Hochul there, the name Hochul, where it comes from. And just let me know, because personally I do believe that Hochul has a Jewish origin. I could be wrong on that though. So somebody just in the comments just drop the line there. Let your boy know. Okay. We're gonna go on from there. Again, somebody, Catherine Hochul would know the difference. Okay. And this article just goes on and on and on to talk about the good old topic of cultural appropriation, because that's what you got going on, family. Understand, right? This whole idea here of work. Let me just look at the word work here, because we said we were going to break it down. Work's definition. As a noun, activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. We're going to have to get away from this idea of hard work. We're out here working. Again, hard labor, work, so on and so forth, are those terms used for those who are like in prison. Do we know anything like that today, family? When they tell you to work smarter, not harder, they're not lying. Okay? Because a lot of hard work was what was given to our ancestors, unfortunately, and our elders. And an unrenewed mind would pass that kind of stuff down to you. Again, God worked 6 days and rested. Nothing do you see was an overt, wild exertion of energy. Labor is another one of those points of human activity, family. We're going to, again, you are given the image of what labor looks like, not what labor is. Just saying. To do, let's see, some Proto-Indo, when you look at the etymology of the word, some Proto-Indo-European root word to do, Old English spelled W-E-O-R-C, that's how they used to spell it. Again, just meaning a deed or action. It's just the work you do. Again, and at the end of the day, this thing is supposed to profit you, which is why we have to get involved in finances to know where to, and less debt to be able to know where to put our money. And we understand they got the deck stacked with how much you get paid to be able to pay for your schooling and the light bill and so on. So we understand. But having that mentality where we're spending less in their mess and we're spending to finance ourselves, there's a difference. Okay? This is you can put a title on whatever you want to put it on. This is right living here when we talk about finances or economics, which is another part of human activity. We played you that Jey Uso thing here. R-Truth being fired again. I don't know how else to say it. You need your own promotion. Black folks, you need your own ownership now, right? Getting the black ownership. You need your own place where y'all can wrestle without having to deal with massa over your head. Because this is what you get. R-Truth was fired to let go for some younger talent. We'll see who they use, because Lord knows they just buried Trick Williams into TNA. Him winning that championship was not a come up. That's going reverse. You made a black man the face of an owned organization. I don't even know. I don't even know. Lord help us, man. I don't even know how else to say it. Family, that's where we are gonna stop today. Again, your boy is hype. We're gonna go get ready for some good wrestling. Again, 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. Right? We're talking about where you're seeing black culture come to the forefront, and ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't a damn thing wrong with it. And in Tulsa is where we are going to enjoy watching it, family, right? Shout out to Greenwood District one time. Even though they took everything from you, they cannot take the spirit of that which is entrepreneurship, and specifically black entrepreneurship. There's not enough of us you can kill to take that out of us. It's those who care and love us and want to join on in, hop on the good soul train. Choo-choo! Right? So that's what we got for you today, family. Thank you for walking this road with me. Thank you for walking this road with me. This is one love out here, family. Less the division and more banding together. That's for real. We were talking about Stink Meaner and Uncle Ruckus there. Less of them folks, man. Less of them folks. And more people coming together, holding each other's hands and holding each other accountable to provide life and godliness down here. This is where we're at now. All right. So thank you, family, for walking this road with me. My apologies for going on long. We will try to cut that down. And as always, and until next time, I love y'all and God bless y'all. And look to find the beauty in a different view.